Oi, boys, welcome to another episode in our multi-year career mode playthrough. We're back with the Gold Coast Titans here in round 5, coming off our second win of the season. That's our third win overall, including that simulation. And we've actually got a few changes to our starting side. So first up, Ash Taylor was suspended for 1 week, so Toby Sexton will be slotting right into 5'8", and the Don makes his return to the wing, replacing Paddy Herbert. As per usual, shout out to the gang. If you're watching us right now, be sure to hit up that comment section with a hashtag OddSquad, and let's see some of those clashing sword emojis as well, as it is quite fitting for this career mode. But yeah, let's jump into it. Sharks round 5, can we go back to back with the dubs? Look boys, I have to bring it up from the previous round. How good if you're a Brisbane Broncos fan, or just someone that backs an underdog in general. How good also to see the upset of, I'd say the upset of the season, obviously without being biased, but it was a pretty hectic game, and from Tavita Pangai Jr., whose sole purpose probably was to make poor old Sam Walker as uncomfortable as possible. It was also the debut of Joseph Suaalii, and that was pretty much all the talk heading into this match, but he had a solid debut, I'd say. You know, being in the census, you won't be creating that many highlights, but nor was I expecting many, and he played his role. One of the main takeaways from the match online, from what I've seen at least, was the admiration for Victor Radley, who, don't get me wrong, is a gun player and whatnot, but I mean, the man was simply a liability in that match in my opinion. I mean, it was entertaining to see that battle between him and Tavita Pangai Jr. testing Sam Walker all night. Man, like I said in previous videos, Pangai Jr., when he decides to turn up, he's arguably up there with the best in the league when it comes to back rowers. As we hold our line here, and we'll get possession inside our 10. And just lastly on that upset, that Broncos team was another kind of reshuffled side, new halves combination, and Albert Kelly, man, welcome back to first grade. His short kicking game wasn't the greatest, but he did redeem himself as we get one of our passes picked off here, and we get punished for trying to play a little adventurous inside our own 20. Jesse Ramian with the interception, and SJ Sean Johnson will get them out to a 6-point lead. So in the previous video I was talking about how exciting it was for these young rookies, and again, Reece Walsh. Actually, I don't think we have to touch on Reece Lightning, as we did upload on Saturday and the Warriors played Friday, but yeah, Reece Walsh had another blinder. He's slowly becoming the rookie to watch this season. I guess the game day of the round was the Sunday football, which had 2 monster games to end the round. The first being the Panthers, as we kick it out on the full. But it was the Panthers and the Rabbitohs. Panthers, man, looking untouchable at the moment. I think it's fair to say that number 1 and number 2 in the comp, it's definitely Melbourne and Penrith. I only put Melbourne above Penrith because they are the current champions. And you know, you gotta respect the champs. Yeah, Penrith are looking good. They're looking on track for another undefeated regular season, but that all won't matter come finals time if you don't win the big one. As harsh as this is about to sound, all those wins won't really matter. And I think they'd tell you themselves after last season's performance during the regular season, only to fall short in the grand final. I bet they'd trade a win streak for a ring any day of the week as the Sharks look to power their way over. We're having quite a rough game at the moment against the Sharks. As we hold them up for the moment, they still have a few tackles up their sleeve as they spread it wide. And David Fafita is all over Chad Townsend. But yeah, Penrith, they absolutely smashed the Rabbitohs, and Manly actually did a number on the Eels at Parramatta at Bank West. I would say that result surprised me, but I actually had Manly heading into that match as Chad Townsend strolls over for the Sharks' second try of the game, as SJ attempts to push it out to a 12-point lead, and he does. Titans still scoreless. But yeah, just real quick, back on the Manly Eels game. I had Manly heading into that one. Tom Trbojevic, man, honestly, he's given off 09 Hayne vibes. I know that's a bit of a praise and a half, as Nene McDonald gets, this is going to be another try for the Sharks on the kick return this time. What is doing with the Titans here? The kick wasn't even a bad one. We tried punching it into the corner. I thought it was a decent kick, but you just can't. Sometimes you just can't defend the sidesteps. This is turning into a bit of an embarrassing half here. 18 points to 0. We're 34 minutes into the match. Dave Fafita, Those are the types of plays you want to see when you're down. Comes up with the big hit. SA with the hit up. But yeah, like I was saying, Turbo and the Seagulls are looking like the number 3 team at the moment. As ridiculous as that sounds, we send the flat ball out to Stags, who zooms past Matty Moyland at fullback, and we'll finally get some points on the board on the back of a Dave Fafita big hit. It's Gordoni Stags. What is it, 37 minutes into the match? Toby Sexton with the conversion. Half time, we head into the sheds. Trailing by 12 points. It was looking grim. We did score a try late in the half, which was huge. It was a huge play. It'll make the comeback attempt a little less difficult. We just need more ball. Alright, we are on the Sharks 20 here. Trying to throw the ball around, trying to create something. Nothing really doing. As we set up for the flat ball, Sexton to Katoni Stags. And he is wrapped up just inside the 23rd. A flat-footed Toby Sexton gets his world rocked, drops the pill, scooped up by Silsifa Talakai. And it is the Sharks with possession on their own 40. That's a tough error right there. As Jesse Ramian goes on a bit of a rampage through the middle of the field. How many tackle busts? First, they swing it wide, Wade Graham. Fogarty does well to wrap him up here. You can just feel a try coming here as the Sharks spread it to the middle, and it's Cam McInnes scoring under the posts. That is another. That was on the back of a bloody superhuman run from Jesse Ramian. Like, we put bodies in front of the bloke, but he just shrugs him off like they're nothing, as Johnston converts yet another try. Inside the final 10 minutes, we just, for respect's sake, need to score a try here, as Don gets wrapped up. You know, in hindsight, maybe playing Sexton at 5'8" wasn't the play. I mean, we had Stags, and plus we have an abundance of outside backs that we could have chucked on the left edge. But yeah, this little experiment of Sexton, Ash Taylor coming back next week, I guess it just wasn't the move, as Pangai Jr. That's a beautiful bump. Nice little offload to Fa'asua Maleawi, backing up on his right shoulder as we send it to the left. Toby Sexton to Tavita Pangai Jr. That's a beautiful try. Looked like TPJ almost dropped it there. He kind of juggled it and did well to reel it back in to score the 4-pointer as Sexton from pretty much the sideline. It's a decent kick. We take our tally to 12. Full time, and we end up struggling on the road. The Sharks hand us our 3rd loss of the season, 24 points to 12. Quite simply, we got smashed. We got smashed by their forward pack. Our backs could barely contain their backs. Nothing much to say really, we just got outclassed. It's back to the drawing board for the next match. We'll have both Ash Taylor and Tanner Boyd back, so that'll be good. As always, if you enjoyed that and would like to see more Rugby League Live 4 content, or more content in general, be sure to run straight at that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you. Later.
Smack that hole in the base. No regrets for the work I match, cause I can go any day. Cops just want me in chain. Smoke that push for the pain. Looking back at them days in the yard, like O's front line in the main. That top on my way. Bang it, throw that pole in the drain. Don't say too much on the phone, cause I